Well, the Indiana Pacers only have 9 games remaining in the 2023-2024 regular season. The Pacers currently sit at the number 6 seed in the Eastern Conference, and the Pacers have a lot of opportunities here in their final 9 games to do a lot of good things, potentially, if not keep their seeding, potentially even go up in the seedings, go up in the rankings right now into 5, 4, 3. Who knows? The Pacers have a lot they could do dependent on some of these other teams. And so today I wanted to look at the Pacers' remaining schedule, talk about the opportunity that is there for this team, a team that's actually been pretty consistent and pretty strong outside of the All-Star break in a lot of ways. Sure, they've definitely had their struggles, definitely had their off nights, but it seems like right now for the Indiana Pacers, things are starting to come together, right? Things are starting to gel a little bit. There's a little bit more cohesion with this team, and we're seeing them play better, especially on the defensive side of things. And so I really wanted to talk about this game right now with the Indiana Pacers, because right now, where it stands right now, the Pacers sit with a 41-32 record, right? I said right now the number 6 seed in the Eastern Conference, but really they are very close to a couple different teams. I mean, really from 3 to 6, there's only a couple games that separate them, right? The number 3 seed right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers, are 44-28. Right. So they're not that far out from the Indiana Pacers. And, I know the Pacers will be playing a team like the Cavaliers here in their final 9 remaining games. And so I'm not saying the Pacers are going to get all the way up to the 3rd seed, but what I am saying is it is such a tight race, especially from 3 to 6. And heck, you can even throw 3 to 8 if you really wanted to. I mean, multiple teams, every single team from 3 to 8 with at least 39 wins. So that's definitely very crazy to think about how tight it's been for this Eastern Conference. And so the good news for the Pacers is that when you look at their remaining schedule, they have some very winnable games, right? And you think the Pacers probably need to win 6 or 7 at minimum here to potentially help their chances, obviously make sure they make the playoffs, but even help their chances to jump 1, 2, or maybe even 3 of these teams, depending how it plays out. But I wanted to look at the Pacers' remaining schedule really fast and talk to you about why I believe the Pacers have a good chance to do some good things here. The opportunity is certainly there, and what we need to see from the Indiana Pacers. And so I have their schedule pulled up here. I wanted to talk about, obviously, the game that's starting tonight for the Indiana Pacers, another road game for the Pacers, but they are a little bit more local. They do play against the Chicago Bulls tonight. And the Bulls right now are a team that they're not very hot right now. Things have not really been coming together for the Chicago Bulls, right? They are 34-38 on the season with a losing record, and they've lost 3 straight as well. And not to mention, they're just coming off of a game last night. So it's a back-to-back for them, a game that they lost pretty badly. So I think that's a very winnable game for the Indiana Pacers. Now, obviously, the Pacers got a night off last night after taking care of business against the Clippers in a very impressive victory. And so you think the Pacers have traditionally been pretty good, when it comes to coming off of a game where they have a day kind of break. The big question mark has always been the back-to-backs, and the Pacers actually did something they didn't do very well the entire season, and they played extremely well against a team like the Clippers. And so for the Pacers right now, Chicago, definitely a very winnable game. You hope the Pacers are able to take care of business in this game. And then when you look over to a couple more games here coming up on Friday, they play the Lakers. Obviously, that game a couple days ago in LA, very close game. The Pacers and the Lakers went back and forth. The Pacers took an early lead, then the Lakers extended their lead, kind of got really hot. Pacers stormed all the way back and ended up going right down to the wire with the Lakers taking the victory. But this game is a game that is at home, so you do think that could really serve the Pacers well potentially in this game. And the Lakers right there with the Pacers record-wise. Lakers a little bit better record-wise than the Indiana Pacers, but nonetheless, I think that's a very winnable game for the Pacers. And then when you move on, the Pacers have 2 straight games against the Brooklyn Nets, one in Cambridge and one in Brooklyn in April 1st and April 3rd. And so Brooklyn, not a very good team at all. You would hope the Pacers could take care of business in both of those games, right? Because Brooklyn 27-45 on the season, so really struggling. And the Pacers have actually done a pretty good job against Brooklyn this year. So hopefully they're able to take care of business there in those two games against the Brooklyn Nets. And then another game the Pacers are going to play on April 5th. Good on paper, it looks like, yeah, definitely probably the best team the Pacers are going to see the rest of the season against Oklahoma City, because Oklahoma City, obviously one of the best teams in the Western Conference, 50-21 record. But for whatever reason, the Pacers actually were able to play them extremely well in their last matchup. They actually were able to defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder in their previous game. And again, this game's going to be at home for the Pacers, so you think maybe that's going to be a factor as well in this game. But certainly the best team record-wise the Pacers will see in the remaining schedule. And then, of course, you have a team like Miami who is right there with you. But again, Miami has not been looking too strong either, although their record is very similar to Indiana, 39-33. In their last 10 games, they've been 4-6. So they haven't really been really hot as of recently. So that's definitely a game that Indiana should be able to take care of business at home against Miami. You're traveling to Toronto, and again, Toronto 23-49. But of course, you've struggled against Toronto a little bit this year, so definitely not a gimme game. Even though record-wise, you think it should be, you just got to take care of business with a team like the Toronto Raptors, and then you finish out the last 2 weeks, or you finish out the last two games of the season. One on the road, one at home. You travel to Cleveland, play the Cavaliers one more time. And obviously that game last time kind of went down to the wire as well against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So that'll definitely be a tough game because Cleveland's right there, like I mentioned, in some of the top seedings in the East. Only a couple games separate them and the Pacers. Cleveland with a 44-28 record right now. And so definitely going to be a very tightly contested game. And I think that game could go either way there. And then you close it out with a team that really has struggled this year as well in the Atlanta Hawks with a 32-39 record. And you close that out in Indiana at home at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And so all this to say, do I expect the Pacers to win every single one of these games? No, I don't. But I do realistically see a path for the Pacers to win 6 or 7 of these games. And if they can do that, I think that puts them in prime position to, number one, make the playoffs, but number two, come into the playoffs extremely hot for whoever they're going to face, whether it is a team like Cleveland, whether it is whatever team it is that the Pacers will be facing, they definitely want to come off some games where they've been playing extremely well. And so they can potentially win a playoff series, and who knows from there. But guys, I just want to make this video and talk about how this Pacers schedule, looking at it, they have some opportunities. Will they take advantage? That is to be seen, but we shall see what the Pacers are able to do here in the final 9 games of the 2023-2024 regular season. And do the Pacers continue to play well and be a playoff team, or do they crumble down the stretch? I guess we will see. But guys, let me know your overall thoughts here on the Pacers schedule. Do you think it's very favorable? Do you think the Pacers have a chance and an opportunity here to take full advantage? Let me know all those things down in the comments below. But that will do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. We are right now approaching 800 subscribers. So if you guys are new to the channel and you haven't done this yet, be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, all that good stuff. And we will be having a game recap from this Chicago game later tonight. But I wanted to just bring this video to you guys here as we're looking at the final stretch here of the regular season. But again, that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Pacers.